Okay, anytime a police officer, say, that shoots and kills a black man, that shouldn't have, the black man was unarmed, and then he has to go to court, and then he is acquitted. Why is he acquitted? Because he has convinced this jury that he was afraid for his life. And you might say, afraid for your life, but you're the cop. No, but that was a black man. And see, every white juror understands that fear that we know they all had back in the 70s. They still have that fear. So when this white cop that has a gun, has a taser, has backup available, shoots and kills this black man and tells this jury that he was fearing for his life, they believe it. And you know what's even more amazing? It's probably true, because that fear is still in there. And that gun is the only thing that gives folks, I don't know if I can say that, gives folks gonads, that gets rid of that fear, okay? That's why the gun lobby is so strong. Because when you have a man that is fearful, that finally, of a particular people that finally has a gun in his hand, he'll never let that gun go. I mean, I'm the same way. Look, I'm 60 years old. I'm walking around. I got a family. I'm armed because I can't fight like I used to. I can't run as fast as I used to. That's what happens when you get old. So you have to have something to alleviate that fear. So I mean, I'm not even faulting these people for that. I do take issue with the fact that they've been fearful for so many years, but a lot of times fear, where does fear come from? A lot of times fear comes from guilt, okay? Fear comes from believing that this individual is like you, okay? And so there's a lot of guilt going on. You know, that's anger and negativity that is directed toward black folks. There's a lot of unresolved issues, okay? You take a man, say, that beats up his wife, okay? And then he beats her up again. And she just keeps responding in love, or keeps responding, you know, as far as that's terrible, you shouldn't do that. She doesn't fight back. She can't fight back. And he has an opportunity to make it right. I was wrong, I'm sorry. But he doesn't make it right. And so every time he sees her, he's going to feel guilty. He's going to feel sorry, if he's any kind of human being at all. But eventually, if he never reconciles that feeling of guilt, that he is going to begin to reject this individual. He's going to begin to reject his wife because of the feeling that it gives him. He's going to be, going to be able to, like, man, just be really negatively turned off even in her presence, because every time he's around her, he realizes what he did to her. It's never been resolved. Okay? So then what does that end up turning into? First it's the sorrow, then it's the guilt, then it's the rejecting the source of this guilt. And if that source of guilt is constantly and continually still there, that emotion is going to turn into anger and hate, which is a result of those unresolved issues, which initiated with simply being sorry. Okay, so what you have in America today is an evolution of an emotion that was initially sorrowful, and then it turned into guilt, and then it turned into rejection, and then it turned into anger and hate. And if it had been dealt with at any point along that path of emotion, it would have been okay right now. So that's what you have. And so then now these folks that are angry have guns. And the folks that they used to be afraid of are unarmed. And so you might find this skinny little nerd, guy with a gun that ends up shooting a man that could have pounded him if they had been face to face, fist to fist, okay? And that's the situation we got today. We just need to realize that. And so my remedy is that black people simply need to get armed. And see, I'm not a proponent of violence. It's like the arms race, It's like this country, it's like the Soviet Union has nuclear arsenals, and we have a nuclear arsenal. And nobody's going to get rid of their nuclear arsenal because they don't want to be just the one without a nuclear arsenal. Now the Soviets, they're not going to shoot at the United States because they know the United States will shoot back at them, and the United States is going to shoot at the Soviets because the Soviets know, because the United States knows. It's going to go either way, back and forth. So, but the fact that both of them are armed deters the other one from being the bully, from taking aggression, okay? And it's the same thing then with the guns in the street. When you have an entire group of people that are basically armed, and another group of people that are not armed, who they hate, who they've wronged for hundreds of years, never made it right, and those emotions have morphed into hate with a gun in your hand and fear of the individual. That's a remedy for disaster, and the result is exactly what we're seeing today: black folks being shot down in the street, being claimed that it was standing their ground because they were in fear for their life, and the juries believe it because they probably were in fear for their life because of that deep-seated fear. Okay.